What is up YouTube, and welcome back to the RiftGuides WildRift video. Milio has been released and it's time for the ultimate Milio guide. And if you want to know anything about Milio, want to play this champion, then you should watch this video, because after watching this video you will know everything you need to know. So now, with anything out of the way, let's start with the ability rundown. Let's take a good look. First up, we have his passive called Fired Up. When Milio's abilities touch allied champions, their next attack deals additional magic damage equal to 50% of their attack damage. This one scales with levels that Milio has and AP. And it does damage over 1.5 seconds. The burn damage does not stack with repeated hits. So if you hit a target, does it work like here? Let's see. No, it doesn't work like this yet, okay. Milio's first ability, the Ultra Mega Fire Kick from Chuck Norris. Milio kicks a fireball, knocking back the first enemy hit. The fireball then bounces the target and explodes, dealing 320 magic damage, or rather magic damage, plus 80% AP to nearby enemies and slowing them by 55%, or rather 40 on level 1, which is also scaling with AP. The fireball knocks minions and monsters farther back. Explosions caused by minions and monsters also detonate in a larger area. So we have the base damage of 80 level 1 with a 40% slow, and it scales per 5, like 5 per level on top, so up to 55, and it gains 80 damage. Let's take a look at the spell. As you see here, there is no vision in this brush, but the moment my first ability connects, is there sometimes vision? Yeah, there is vision sometimes, you see? Is there a special condition where it doesn't grant vision? Why does it sometimes not grant vision? So we found like some kind of an inconsistency with the first ability, but as you see, it can grant vision. Is it if I simply miss? No, it's not. But yeah, you see my first ability hits, we gain vision, we deal damage. And it's pretty cool stuff. For the second ability, we have the Cozy Campfire. Ignites a buffing Soothing Fire for himself or an allied champion for 6 seconds. While Soothing Fire is burning, Milio casts Fire Up every 3 seconds. Self-cast grants attack range and restores health over time to himself and nearby allied champions. If you cast it on an allied champion, you form a tether between himself and the target, granting attack range and restoring health over time to both champions. When Warm Hugs or Breath of Fire is cast, Milio shares all ability effects with the target. If you recast this one, you select a new ally, you inherit the remaining duration of the first cast. The tether between Milio and the allied champion has no range limit. So what do you gain per point investment? You gain a lower cooldown, a higher range, and more healing. But how does the spell look like? I'm healing all the bros, as you see. And now what happens if I walk away? You see the tether? The distance increases. Hello? And before we read what the third ability and the second abilities do, let's take a good look at this. The effects are shared. I can still give the target the effects of my spell, even while not being in range. So let's say my ally is in Narnia and I'm just super far away. You see? Works like a charm. For the third ability, we have Warm Hugs. Robs himself on allied champions in Protective Flames, absorbing 180 damage, or rather damage plus 30% AP, and granting movement speed per level increase for 2.5 seconds. The shield and bonus movement speed are stackable. You gain a charge every 13 seconds, storing up to 2 charges. What do you gain per point investment? Higher movement speed, bigger shielding, and a lower charge time. So how does it look like? I'm zooming! Now, what does the last ability do? Breath of Life. Unleashes a wave of soothing fire around himself, removing disables and immobilizing effects from allied champions nearby, healing them for HP and an AP scaling, and granting them 65% tenacity for 3 seconds. What does this mean? Tenacity means you're less CC'd. Breath of Life does not remove knock-up, knockback, or airborne effects. Disables on Milio will also be removed. What do you gain per point investment? Cooldown reduction and more healing. So how does it look? You see, that is quite the big circle. Now, before we obviously go into the item or rune department, we will talk about something important, and it's going to be spell max order, which is going to be tied down to your runes. First off, we will, I will put it into the beginning of the video, but I just want to talk about this here for a brief moment. So there's like more context. For laning, you start with your first ability, then you put a point into your third ability, and then you put a point into your second ability, then you max your third ability, then your second ability, and your first ability. This is utility. The reason is you provide all the utility from your champion on lower cooldowns and become more useful. However, in WildRift, there's also another way of playing this. Since we are playing a game in which damage is king, we have the first ability max into your third ability max, into your second ability max. The reason is, often it's just enough to hit the enemy first, and if you hit them first, you win. And that is pretty much the reasoning behind this. Why you go for the Q max and full damage. And then for the runes, you would also have something super aggressive, but I'll go back into the other window so we can debate this a bit better. When it comes to flash combos, you only have your Q flash. It will be cast from the new point where you flash to. And other than this, you only have the connection and you buff them. That's kind of it. That's really just it. Another thing, you buff them and you have like this damage over time effect, you see. And that pretty much is it. There's not much else to this champion. Now let's tackle runes and such. I will go out of this so we can actually hop to the selection window, because otherwise it's going to be a little bit troublesome to talk about this. Okay, let me out. Thank you very much. Okay. First off, what can we do with the Enchanter Milio? Enchanter Milio. What are our options? First off, we will tackle runes for Enchanter Milio. We'll have Airy because we provide more shielding and healing. Just ample healing equals more shielding. With this, we have the healing over time effect, which will provide our ally with more healing. Also, it's quite nice for more poke damage during the laning phase. We are going to be more tankier with the nullifying orb. We can also debate going for Courage of the Colossus. But it really depends on how you view the game. Often you'll get better value with Nullifying Orb because it's easier to utilize, because this requires you to hit your first ability. The next rune we will have is Bone Plating, since you are quite a squishy champion, an Enchanter champion, so you're even tankier with this. And as for your last rune, you can debate between Revitalize, because this grants you up to 10%, like up to 15% more healing and shielding, or depending on what type of champions you're facing, you will go into Perseverance, because for example into Leona, when you get CC'd once, you gain 16 to 30 magic resistant armor, and this is quite broken and will outvalue this by quite a lot. For your second tree, you will then go into Transcendence. It provides you with more haste, and for Milio, haste is everything. For items, you will most likely, this is fully supportive, you'll rush Harmonic Echo, then after this you'll go for Boots of Mana into full utility items. Ardent Censer, Staff of Flowing Water, Crown for self-peel, and that's quite a bit for this type of build. However, there's another build. For some of the spells you have heal and obviously flash. We have this is called scaling, it's an Enchanter, and we will just create another one. We will you start with either this support item or this support item, depends on what you believe is best. Both are very much playable. Your first item for the other spec here will also most likely be Harmonic Echo. You can debate going for items such as Redemption here because you want to have boots. The question now is what boot type you want, because the mana regen is nice from this and the AP as well. This item is quite nice if you want to go for a tankier approach, so we'd go, for example, let's say you have a defensive game where you need more defenses, then you would pick up these two. because they synergize with each other, because it grants health, and you obviously want to be tankier, and that is a good combination to have. If you want to go for more AP though, this is completely fine. And again, let's talk about the whys here. If you don't have anyone utilizing the auto attack range, and the question is why you even pick Milio in the first place. But then you have Staff of Flowing Water, you have Ardent. All of these items, my cat is doing some crazy stuff again. But yeah, these items are very powerful in this champion. And then you go for this and for your enchantment. Obviously, it's just set in stone. You have the Veil Enchant. Because people might say, yeah, you already have the cleanse, but it's just even better to have more. Because it makes it impossible for your AD carry to be caught. And then it's just so easy for you to win. Because they can't really do anything. Because you have so many tools of protecting your ally that it's impossible for them to deal with you. And that is something you truly want to have on your mind. There's another issue though with Milio. But let's talk about the runes here. We have these runes that are super aggressive. And then you would take, this on top. Look. You have Scorch from hitting your first ability and giga damage. You have Empowered Attack to have an auto attack that hits even harder. You have a Genius Hunter to give your items less cooldown. And you have Brutal for even more auto attacks paired with Array. This is complete lane domination. But you're very squishy. But this is complete lane domination. This is domination. Also, given that Milio's AP scalings are not that high on their utility part, because if you think about this, okay, Milio's ultimate heals, but it's a heal. It scales with AP with 50%, which is good, but it is a heal. So healing reduction is quite powerful. His third ability only has a 30% scaling. His second ability only has a 15% scaling. So this begs the question, if you don't just go for a full tank Milio build, and then just provide your allies with all the default bonuses, because you can just have Harmonic, you can have defensive boots, you can then go into full tank. Like something like, where is it? Something like this. Because then you have also infinite mana, and then you can debate, okay, what other utility item is something I could go for? And you just get items that provide you and your team with more value, depending on what you're facing. Because like this, you are providing even more value to the team. But again, this will take time to figure out, because I personally don't know if we would need this, or if we rather want full AP Milio, or if the utility is better, or the full damage Milio is better. It will probably just depend on the game and your playstyle. But again, I need to play some games on this champion to give you a better statement on this one, but these are all viable choices which I want you to know about before you go in. So thank you for watching. This marks the end of this video. We'll catch each other for more content very soon, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, see each other tomorrow.